Aries, how are you? We're going to be doing a collective reading for you. So we're going to start off with crystals. You seem very distant. You're thinking about a lot of things all at once. There's a lot of thoughts in your head, you know. You feel confident here, though, with something, okay? You know it's going to be all right. You know you're protected here at 4 o'clock. Something that you really have faith with. Your faith is strong right here. There's prosperity in something you're doing, and the outcome you will like. But it took a lot of work with this tiger's eye there. There's a protection. This tiger's eye there. Maybe something you're taking too lightly too, you know. So I just want you to think of that. Again, you're running with faith. You know things will be okay. You've got love is surrounding you. You could be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. There's a Capricorn. I see a cusp too of Sagittarius. Too, that very supportive energies for you. Let's see. This is for Aries. This is for Aries current energy. Aries current energy. Aries current energy. Collective. Aries, the energy. Well, Moonstone reared its head. So, you know, I love that card. Because you have a purpose. There's a purpose that you're going for. You know, that's why I said you were very focused on that with the Moonstone energy. Citrine. Bring it into light. You know, and that's what I felt when I put the crystals out there, when I started to feel Capricorn, Libra, communication with Gemini, strength of Leo. One more for Aries. One more for Aries. One more for Aries. Okay, you drop something, so there's something that you definitely grounded differently. Tiger's Eye. I knew Tiger's Eye was going to come out because it was prominent in your reading. It also starts again and ends. So it's a cycle. So you got red jasper. You took action here. So you stayed focused and you took action here. I like this for you, you know. And then you got the rhodiola, which is remember your worth. So, you know, I think you did a good protection here, which is overcome your fears. And then it did spit out a lot of them, but I'm not going to go into detail because I want to stay focused with this, and that's exactly how you are. Aragonite. Release emotional baggage. You know. Can I have the final thought on the crystal cards? So this balance come out. So turquoise energy. And I like that. It's prioritize your health, and that has been coming out. This is a benefit to you. You know, this is a different cycle for you. There's a new outlook here. There's, with confidence, there's action here. You did rather well. Let's see if there was any actions in the outside energy that may have influenced this. Any outside energy that may have I've seen it. there's a message that came through with this. You know, I think that your outside energy wants you to be confident, wants you to be balanced, wants you to stay stable. Whatever it is, you're focused. And it's complicated too, so it wasn't easy to go through. You feel growth in the situation, and there's a trapped feeling with it. Like, it is what it is type of thing. You know, it is what it is. That's the energy around you. Why the trapped? Well, in meditation, you've gone through this in your head a lot. You know, you got a 45, I think you received the message. You got a 34, and able to expand something to stabilize it. And then you got the 4 and the 0 with the beauty, which is growth. That oath and lust came out. There's something that you dropped, you know, and there was deceit around it. So you block that. And the outcome, self-worth. You drop this deceit with the lust upside down, and guess what was underneath it that I didn't see? Chaos upside down. So I think things are going to go smooth because you dropped the idea of it being otherwise, you know, and you manifested in meditation that it would be a successful outcome. And I really, really like your energy. Congratulations. You know, you got the confidence back here. See, confidence? And then you got the congratulations, success. And then you got a piece of yourself back, you know, the fragments that you've lost. You're bringing back just, you know, to organize and get rid of the deceit, the here that might be around or influencing you. Because remember, I asked if this is an influence. And I think that's where the tiger's eye came in. You're very good at dealing with energy. Whoever you are in this reading, if you received this message, it was time for you to receive it. Of course, that came through. You see? That wants to rear its head again. Let's ask why. Why does that want to pop out again for Aries? For their greatest good, can they have some advice? Other than success, I mean, what more could they give you other than lighten up? You know, you've been loyal to something, you've made good choices, you've been obedient with it, and you've been very focused. Again, confirming that. It's going to break down. It's going to be positive, I can feel it. This is for Aries. Yeah, there's hard work, and you did something by yourself, you know, and you gained such clarity with it. You know, you got the King of Swords. You gained clarity. You worked hard on something, and you did it by yourself. So that's something you should recognize. Outside influences that affect the situation that you're thinking of. This is an outside influence. Is there anything we should know that is dealing with Aries? Okay. Outside influences dealing with Aries. Direct outside influence is dealing with Aries. Well, there might be judgment there. There's a rebirth, there's a new renewal of something. You know, there's something refreshed, started again. You know, there's an awakening of some sort with your outside energy. You know, and I think that's, you know, some of the things that you got clarity with. Yeah, that's the movement that you got. You got the charity and energy between you. So there's movement and clarity. Very confident energy. Yeah, very confident energy. If the Ace of Swords, you know, they're left out with something, whoever you're dealing with, but you're the Ace of Swords confirming the King and Queen here. So there's a good match here, or your attitude is really clear. And there's movement with leaving things out or going back to judgment things in the energy. Yeah. A lot of stuff that you're handling, you know, that the outside influences are there with, but then there's been a change because of the Chariot. You got death. So I like that confirmation there, that there has been a change in the movement. And it became clear. Double time. King, Queen of Swords on the board. I felt the Gemini energy. I felt it in communication. I see the balance here. I see the protectiveness in communication. The Moonstone energy, you know, to live your purpose right here was to get clarity. To do something yourself, too. And it's being recognized. There's travel moving forward, self-confidence, optimism, freedom, expectation, success, adventure, spending, spreading your wings, you know. And again, doing it yourself. Queen of Pentacles, if you're holding that energy, you can do it, you know. So whatever that you're working on, you can do it, don't worry. There's going to be a good transformation here in the success on the board. There was success on the board here. There was dropping chaos. There was dropping deceit. There's been a switch with that Chariot. And there's going to be communication that will help you get through this. They'll be very pleased with the communication that you get. As far as what you're dealing with, they're not starting with something. They're going inside. They're looking at themselves. Their energy is their own victory in what they had to learn something. Because you got the clarity. So whatever you're dealing with, you help this person in a lot of ways. They feel better. Maybe it was an apology on the board. There's been justice between you. It's a good energy to have. There's balance all over the board. You may have had to watch someone walk away. Yeah, Page of Cups. You know, you might have recently been through a breakup that lasted a while. There was a lot of cycles in it because I felt the cycles in the crystals. But you also gained knowledge to change that. There was justice in what you learned. That was the victory. And you moved that. So almost moving from your south node to your north node, if you would. What you learn to apply it in the North Node, you know what I mean? So it's actually, I'm seeing it form with the King and Queen of Swords as well. Stable. You might want to move and do it quick with this here, but you pulled back and reflected. That there's somebody with a move, yeah, you pulled back. There was something you weren't pleased with in your home environment. You know, it was something incomplete there. So you thought, but slowly and surely you changed your mind about something. You didn't want to manifest that. I felt that in there. If, you know, there was something toxic that you were going through, but this too shall pass, is what I'm feeling. Yeah. King of Cups, you got it. You know, there's something that you were thinking of, you know, but your emotions are upright. You've got a good head on your shoulders at 1409. Let's get a smaller breakdown. See what these cards bring in with the clarity. Expression. So you got some truth there. Let's see. With how you did. You know, you were in a softer side of something, you know, you almost a Pisces energy. The yin, you know, there was something that was blocking it there, and that's what you overcame there. So it took a minute. I like it. You're holding those fears in, but you know, I think you release them, and that's what it's reading in the past in clarification. You know, but you got some truth on that. Can I have one on the truth? reflection. You know, and half the deck went on the floor, so you have to excuse me a minute. I'll put it on pause for a second. Okay. So you got reflection, shadow work. So something you went with. You got self-love here too, rearing its head. That's the phone, excuse me. So, you know, having it stable here with your emotions are upright, you passed your fears and you gained some truth. So you stayed very confident. I want to say that. And you did it on your own. And listen, you got the Ten of Pentacles here in the outcome result after being stable. So the communication you will like. You might not say nothing, but you're quietly pleased, I want to say. Okay? I really like your reading, Aries. I think it's a good reading, you know. I want to get a little clarifier on this Justice. Why is the Justice here? Well, we've got the Knight of Wands, so it's to do with movement, you know. There's been a change with movement. And then we got the Fool right after it. The Hangman, sorry. There was a Tower, and then the Fool. So, and I think that's their energy. Let's see yours. You know, you got the King of Cups. What's this truth about? Can I have something on this truth? For the truth card. What's the truth here for? For Aries. You got the Page of Cups. You got a message. You know? You received it. And I really like that. You got confidence here. And I think you know it. And that's what came out. There was a lot of pain in the past that you had to deal with. You know, and maybe ongoing. You're still going through some healing, but you're gaining strength within it, you know. I see that. You're not really worried about a manifestation that you've been working on. You feel it's going to be complete. There's somebody you think about. You think that if you go near them, they're only going to be sneaky again or block your sun. So you don't. You found clarity with that. Okay. I just looked through the deck for you, and that's what was prominent in that. Something you're happy with, something you're going to celebrate with. You got the Three of Cups. There was, you know, maybe one person involved, more than one person involved, but you're going to be pleased with it. You really are. You got the Ace of Pentacles here, and Three of Pentacles. So something of a foundation, sorry. A unit, a foundation, you know, you have help here, you know, and then there's some things that you did yourself, and then there's been collaboration with that. So, the collaboration you were looking for, the protection of putting the fears and the doubts down, that's been done. I mean, you've got a great reading here. Great reading, you know. I hope moving forward, you know, you find that success, which is rearing its head here on the board. You got Justice on the board. So something that, you know, in movement that you've done, maybe you thought it was a tower, but if I reflected to this side, it was something you were pleased with that you didn't have to worry about it after all when I look through this deck. Let's see what animal spirit comes out for you. Can I have one for Aries, please? One for Aries in the collective in the here and now. The Gazelle, movement. There's going to be movement that you're pleased with. And you're protected with the deer, the spirit, you know. The deer spirit, you're protected. You're protected. So, I love your reading. And it stopped at 1923. So, you know, that's a 25 and it's a 7 in itself. So, it's very spiritual. That's probably why the Gazelle came out. You know, and you do have a lot of communication with that as well, air symbol. So, very good reading. Take care. Nice to see you.